In this third section of the newsreel record of our invasion, these further graphic pictures show the consolidation of the beachhead positions and the thrust inland. The weather was none too good, but the little ships plugged on manfully to the beaches, bringing enormous support in manpower and weapons, and bringing also the mechanical needs of our Army and Air Force, the means to build our first airfields in France since 1940. After a day when the skies were too grey for useful flying, the great air forces went once more into the attack, in strength. Again the air vibrated with the roar of hundreds of bombers and fighters. Airfields, communications, and enemy troops were strafed and blasted. Every bridge over the Seine between Paris and the coast was wrecked. This was air power on a scale to dwarf even the grandeur of Nazi dreams. All the time, the sea and beaches were alive with the activity of Anglo-American invasion. Wider and wider grew the scene. The beachhead grew in depth and width. From the beaches, spearheads struck out and pressed inland, through the villages towards Caen, Isigny, and Carentan, and Montebourg and Saint-Mère-Église in the north towards Cherbourg, fighting over open country and in the streets, destroying the German conquerors of France, capturing their supply dumps and taking prisoners. Airborne units fought an engagement here close to the gliders in which they had landed. And here, out of action, come German soldiers in surrender. The first rich fruits of victory for the United Nations. And from each village recaptured from Hitler come the people of France. On board a mine layer soon after the invasion started, Supreme Commander Eisenhower was watching progress with Admiral Ramsey. And that other familiar figure whose name has spelled victory more than once. After 4 years, the commander of the Allied field forces stands on the soil of France. General Montgomery has said he didn't see any Atlantic wall, but he did see a wonderfully efficient system of concrete and steel defense posts. The skill and courage of our fighting men overcame them, tough though they were. At one point, the camera found a German defender digging himself out of sand in which he had been buried by a shell burst. We have learnt well the lessons of the past. In a matter of hours, the bulldozers were at work, building landing strips to enable our warplanes once again to take off and land in France itself. Now the reinforcements of men and armor came into the towns. The Normandy names have become famous in a week because of their battles on the road to Berlin. Sectors, prisoners were coming by hundreds, growing into thousands. Taken out to the ships, bound for Britain. Already those airstrips were being used to evacuate wounded. Nurses have been over to the beachhead. They picked flowers in the fields of Normandy while they were waiting for the patients with whom they flew back to Britain. Over in Britain also, the prisoners are arriving. The men who expected to march in triumph through the streets of our London. Now they come instead in captivity. Churchill told them 4 years ago that we would fight on the beaches. It turns out to be their beaches.